Good morning. Everyone come on in and find a seat. Glad you could join us this morning. And we're in for a special treat this morning. Don English, the new camp manager at Burnt Cabin Camp, which is near and dear to us, is going to be talking to us during class time. I'll save all the juicy details about him and his family until before he preaches our lesson during worship time. And so we're glad to have Don and his son, Dion. His wife wasn't, and younger son were not able to make it this morning. So welcome Don and Dion this morning, and I'll give it over to him.
All right. Sounds good. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Fantastic. Those are bright lights. Should have worn my sunglasses in here, but that's all right. Hey, well, I'm happy to be here. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. You're going to find out quite a bit about me this morning here. First and foremost, I want you to know that I am from upstate New York. Now, before all the gasps and what in the world is he doing here kind of thing, I want to tell you what I've been doing for the last 25 years. Last 25 years, I've been preaching the gospel as a full-time minister in upstate New York. During those 25 years, spent it in two different churches, one in Johnstown, New York, and the one in the capital, Albany, New York, the last 12. And I want to start off by telling you that I would have still been there today if something didn't happen, because I love preaching the gospel, and I think there's not enough ministers in New York, number one, and I believe that it's a true mission field to be there. But something happened to me. Just, there we go, just a few years ago. My mom and dad retired and moved to Oklahoma, okay? My dad vowed he'd never moved anywhere. He grew up in upstate New York also. He was down here for a family reunion on my mother's side, and he was doing what my dad always did at family reunion. I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this, but he was hiding at the golf course. And as he was hiding at the golf course, he was walking along and he saw some flyers for some housing that they were building along the golf course, and he opened it up and he was looking at it and he flipped it over and it had the tax rate on there. And he thought about the tax rate of New York and thought about the tax rate here. He went back to the family reunion after finishing up the golf game, don't worry, and told my mother we were moving. They were moving anyways. So they moved to Oklahoma about 20 years ago, actually. Almost 20 years ago now. But just recently, about 5 years ago, my mom was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia. Lewy body dementia is, if you don't know what that is, it's like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's have a baby. Yeah, it is an awful disease that I don't wish upon anybody. It's terrible. It not only loses your mind, but your body functions. She's currently in a nursing home in Roland, where she has to be fed and getting in and out of bed. So about 3 years ago, I decided, as the oldest child, that somebody needed to get a little closer to mom and dad and be a little closer to mom and dad and help them out. And so as a minister, the first thing I did was I started looking at preaching jobs. And I looked at a whole bunch of preaching jobs, and the only ones that I could find were 6 or 8 hours away. And I don't know about you, but 6 or 8 hours away to me is no different than getting on a plane from New York than getting on a plane from anywhere else. So I decided to just quit looking. I guess God blessed me with a wonderful ministry in New York, and we put away some money that I could, at a drop of a hat, be able to just fly down and see my mom and help her out in any way. So I thought, that's it. That's God's plan. It wasn't more than a couple months after that I gave up that I ended up talking with Terrell Hatfield from Tahlequah, who was looking for somebody who could be the camp manager at Burnt Cabin, but he was looking for somebody very specific, somebody with camp experience, which, by the way, I forgot to say that. During those 25 years of ministry in upstate New York, I've also been on the board of trustees for Camp Hunt, which is I hear, the oldest Church of Christ camp in America. Started in 1947. But anyhow, I've been the vice president of that camp for the last 22 years. So I had plenty of camp experience. I've directed, I've done youth rallies, retreats, all sorts of stuff with camp. So they were looking for a camp manager that could preach. And so I said, well, I think I fit that bill. And here I am. You know, a little bit later, we found out that this is the best place to be. Now, I want you to tell me, I want you to see this for yourself, so I put a map up here next. This is how God hits you with a 2x4, okay? That this is the way he wants you to go. You ready? Okay? The camp is in the circle on the top of the screen. My dad lives in the circle at the bottom of the screen. That's how close it is. My trying to control the situation, 6 to 8 hours away. God taking over, 20 minutes. Okay? So, and if I had a boat, I guess it'd probably be a lot quicker. But we are excited to be here. We are excited to be at Burnt Cabin. We came down November 1st, officially started January 1st. It has been a whirlwind so far. I've met a lot of people through the fall retreats. Met a lot of people through just coming and visiting. This isn't the first time I've actually been here. I actually snuck in here in January and said hi to a bunch of you. Unfortunately, that's why my son is not here. My son is on the spectrum. He has Asperger's, and he kind of lost it when he was here last time. I was talking to Richard, my wife was talking to a young lady, and we lost Christopher. And ended up found him out in our car. He actually went back out to the car and was sitting in the car with his hands over his ears. Not that you scared him, just so many people scared him. So he, let's just say he was hesitant about coming this morning. So I have my lovely wife, Lydia. Where am I here? Sorry about that. So I have a bigger family. There we go. This is my family. I've got 6 kids, 6 grandkids, and we have a lot of fun together. This picture was taken last summer. This is from Camp Hunt up in upstate New York. We all gathered together. I have a daughter in Bella Vista. I've got a daughter in Searcy. And I've got a daughter who is married to a military man in the Navy, and they're stationed in St. Mary's, Georgia at the moment. And then the 3 sons are all with me at the moment. So it's good to be here. It's really good to be back in Oklahoma. I want to tell you just briefly again, it is a wonderful place to be, and it's not the first time I've been here, and I'll tell you a little bit about that during my sermon. All right, on to Burnt Cabin. Burnt Cabin. I don't know how many of you know the history of Burnt Cabin. I do. I'm just learning it for myself. There's only one portion of the history I want you to know this morning. It was created in 1959. It's been there ever since. But I've got a little date down in the corner there, 1989. That's the date I want you to know about this morning. 1989, I found out, I was able to find an old newsletter for me to understand this and find out about this. But in 1989, the camp almost folded. I don't know how many of you remember that. but it almost went under. It was in dire straits financially. And so it was struggling so much that this congregation, along with 7 other congregations, got together and decided what to do about it. And this is, again, in 1989. And in 1989, they decided that they would get one congregation to kind of overlook it and guide it, in the direction it needs to go. And so in 1989, the South College Church of Christ in Tahlequah was the ones that answered that call and began that path. Now, I will tell you, from me talking to some of the older guys, that was supposed to be for 5 years. And I said, 5 years? Did they just not want to let it go? What's happening? No, this is what happened. 5 years came up and somebody said, okay, who's next? And they all went, you're doing such a great job. Why would we change things? Well, so for those of you who don't understand, don't know why this is an important thing, this is a big deal. Okay, this is a really big deal, and it's a big deal because this is a monumental year. 2024 is a monumental year for Burnt Cabin, because Burnt Cabin is not a ministry of a single congregation. I want you to understand that, okay? It's not a ministry of a single congregation. Burnt Cabin is a tool for churches of Christ in Oklahoma and Arkansas and even Texas. Believe it or not, we have some people come out from there. Oklahoma and Arkansas, to come and to use it to further God's kingdom. That's what Burnt Cabin exists for, and therefore, Burnt Cabin is its own incorporation. It's Burnt Cabin Christian Camp Incorporated. So being incorporated means that there's a couple different things that we need to make sure of. Number one is that there's a board. And for the very first time since 1989, there is now a 12-member board for Burnt Cabin Christian Incorporated. So it's wonderful to be back doing that, being back the way it's supposed to be. You'll see a lot of them on there are still from Tahlequah, some of the ones that have still been there for a while. Terrell Hatfield, Dean Kelly, Danny Marnier. Sam Yaws, which most of you know is the previous caretaker out there. But you also see some of the ones from here. You see Richard, you see Andrew, you see Brian, and Kevin, you don't see you yet. Did you notice that? Where is he? He promised me a picture, that's why I'm just making sure he sees that. He promised me a picture. So we have Burnt Cabin, Chakotah, Fort Gibson, and South College all represented in the board. And the hopes and my hopes and my dreams for the board is for it to continue to grow a little bit more at least. That's mine. And to see it represented by a few more congregations. And really start to use this camp. It's being used now, but to use this camp as it's intended, as a tool to further God's kingdom in your own congregation. And so we're hoping that it will continue to do that for years and years to come. So there's another important part to this, which I'm going to get to in just a few minutes. Being a nonprofit organization, okay, is important. And there's one other important thing I'm going to talk to you in a few minutes about when we get there. But most of you know it as our summer camp, right? Most of you know it as the summer camp, and there's so much that goes on during the summer. So currently, we run 7 different weeks of summer camp. Broken Arrow being the very first one, starting June 2nd. Those of you who are involved in that, hope you're not starting to sweat yet. But it's June 2nd. It's coming up pretty quick here. So it's a great summer camp. The facilities are wonderful and growing. And I'm going to share with you a few things that are going on out there. We've already had a few projects this year. I need the back button there. A few projects this year. Minor Center, which is up on the left, up on your left, received some new bathroom tiles. The bathroom actually was, after being flooded several times, the bathroom floor had rotted through. We put some linear drains in it. I don't know if you guys know this, but it's a cross state lines. This is cross state lines problem that all teenagers have. Did you know this? Teenagers, did you know this? There's a problem that doesn't matter what state you live in. Somehow, some way, we forgot to teach teenagers. I'm going to put this on the parents, okay, including myself here. We forgot to teach the kids that when you're in a stand-up shower, the curtain goes inside the shower. Right? Right? I cannot tell you how many floors I've replaced over the years up at Camp Hunt for the same exact reason. So we actually got a little smarter here. We actually put linear drains on the outsides of the showers. So if the curtain's outside the shower, we still got a drain. We also, with the help of your congregation and your Trail Life group came up in February, and they did a fantastic job with the basement in Minor Center. I don't know if you remember what it did look like. Richard, I wish we had taken a before picture. I really do, because the before picture you would have seen just a mess, an absolute mess. And now the basement is not only usable, but probably a place the kids are going to hang out a lot in. So we're really, really excited about that. And actually, I want to call upon any youth group, college group, any group, I don't care. I have a challenge for you. Those walls are too bare for me. And I'm not looking for them to be painted. I'm looking to be muraled. Okay? I'm looking for them to be muraled. So if you got any artists out there, or if you have any ideas, or if you just want to come out and paint a picture, we've got a lot of area down there that I would love to see to get muraled, as much as possible. The other one I think everybody's happy about, because I've heard this over and over again. I'm sorry, I skipped ahead. I apologize. I skipped ahead here. The bottom picture you see here is the backside of the old lodge, or the dining hall. The upper part up there, where all the windows are, has been leaking for several years. And many volunteers, I have heard, have gone up on that roof and tried their very best to add 15 pounds of caulk to those windows each, and tried to fix the problem. Well, luckily, Window World of Tulsa is coming in either next week or the week after. They're going to put all brand new windows in and composite siding, both of those upper dormers right there, and they'll be lifetime guaranteed for those. So we're looking forward to having that done also. But the big project that I was alluding to a minute ago is this. This is the outside of the canteen right now. The outside of the canteen, you're looking at the southern edge of it. The southern edge. Right off the southern edge, we are going to be putting in public restrooms. They are going to be started in just another couple weeks, and they should be finished. They should be finished by June 2nd. So no longer will you have to, kids, no longer will you have to run all the way back to your bunkhouse to use the facilities. There will be bathrooms right there in the middle of camp, which everyone is excited about. So like I said, a lot of new projects going on. Now, I want to say these are all projects that were already on the slate before I got there. So I want to introduce you to my new project, okay? My new project. My new project is something that I'm looking for, and I'm looking for some help with, okay? I am really looking for some hands that are able to come out and help me with this, because I'd like this also to be done by June 2nd. We are going to be putting in an archery range, complete with its own Genesis bows and arrows. We'll provide arrows too, I guess. Its own Genesis bows and arrows, compound bows, and it will be an actual archery range, a covered area where you're going to be. folks, I have to say, I found this picture on the internet. It's probably not going to look that good. The bows will. The range itself, no, we'll see how many people I get out to help maybe. But it's a beautiful, we found a beautiful spot. We were looking everywhere trying to figure out where we're going to put this archery range because we want it out of the way. Shooting arrows towards the basketball court, probably not a good idea, right? Or the bunkhouses, probably not a good idea. So we're trying to figure out how we do that and and move it out. And so if you see the picture in your lower right there, the pictures, there's a swimming pool, the Gaga pit, and then the volleyball court. Over there is the barn where we store the tractors. There's a path that goes down behind the barn. There'll be a bridge that goes over a little drainage area, and then back there's this beautiful untapped flat, did you hear me, flat area? There's not a lot of those out of camp. That's why I want to make sure you understand. It's a flat area. And so we're hoping to put that right back there, and it's going to be, hopefully it's going to be a great thing to use. And so we're excited about that. I'm excited about that. And again, just looking for some helping hands to help me build it before June 2nd. So those of you who would like to see it in your program, Andrew, might want to come out for a day or two. So also, future plans. I want you to be excited about what's going to be happening at Burnt Cabin. One of the things that people don't recognize is how big Burnt Cabin actually is. All the buildings are right there in the center, and you don't realize how big Burnt Cabin actually is. So I took this photo, or I didn't take it, I stole it off the internet. Here's the photo. We have Tony's house on the other side of the road there, which is, beautiful, gorgeous house on the other side of the road. Just side note, our neighbor Tony has spent the last 6 weeks in Austin, Texas, because he has stage 4 esophageal cancer. So just keep him in your prayers. So last year, Burnt Cabin sold that orange area up at top. Okay, just that area, that's it. All it is an access road. It's an access road that goes all the way beyond our property to the owner of the marina, actually, the Burnt Cabin Marina. Him and his wife own a piece of property out there that they're going to build a house on. And so the camp made a little money by selling that just road access, basically. But there was 2 reasons for it. One, we want to be good neighbors, right? And it was good money. All right, so, and two, in doing so, part of it is that when he puts an electric and water down that road, we can tap into it. Now, what that does, it opens up all of that land that's that doesn't have water and electric on that side of the campground. And so that whole hillside up there where you see the purple, that whole hillside is going to be able to be used, and we're going to have access to that road also. The purple that you see are new RV slots. So if you've got a camper, RV, whatever, you want to come out and spend some time at camp, but you just want to save those bunks for the kids, right? Yeah. By the way, that's universal state to state too. Camp bunks are always camp bunks. So we're going to have RV slots up there. We're hoping maybe as many as 12 different slots up there to start with. We'll see how it goes. The only thing holding that up will be when the water and electric actually go down that. He's actually flattened his land, and I would say he probably has the most beautiful view of Lake Tenkiller in the world. But anyhow, the purple is that. The next thing that you see is in that red square. Now, the red square, I want you to know, is actually all Burnt Cabin land. It's about 12 acres, and it has not been used, period. It is completely forest at the moment. And there's a lot of good land in here. Richard and the Trail Life group know it because they camp out there. They trek out there and they camp out in the middle of it, and they've got a really nice little spot there. But there's a lot of great spots along the way in there also. And so we're looking at opening up camp a little bit here and there. So one of the things that we're going to look at is family cabins. Family cabins. Now the family cabins, I'm falling behind on my slides up here. All right, family cabins are going to look something like this. I don't know if they'll look exactly like this, but family cabins, what they're going to allow us to do is to do things like marriage retreats. One of the things that they wanted me to do as I came down here to Burnt Cabin and took over is since I have background in preaching, they're like, you could hold different things, different events. You could do your own men's retreat. You could do your own marriage retreat. And I'm thinking, marriage retreats, that's a fantastic thing to do. Let's do that. And then I got there, and all of the housing at Burnt Cabin is dorm-style housing. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but here's how I think a marriage retreat would go. We all get together on Friday night. We go through a lot of stuff. A lot of breakthroughs are happening. Then we send all the women to one place and all the men to another place. Yeah. And then in the morning, we do the same thing over again because everything was lost at that night, right? So we're looking at having some sort of family-type cabins out there. We really want to be able for a family to come in and have their own little spot where, again, even for marriage retreats, a husband and wife can go and have their own evening planned there. So we're looking for that. Now, before I go any farther, the next thing is I'm going to go back to that incorporation, okay? I want to go back to that incorporation. So by law, okay, by law, nonprofit organizations have to have a membership. Now, in order to have a membership, to be a part of a membership, you can't just say, here, sign this, and everybody's a member. Because you could go to the Walmart and get that done, right? That's not true. So in order to be a member of camp, it has to be a financial obligation to camp, okay? So this is what it is. So let me show you this. The first thing I noticed when I came here last time was how awesome it was that you guys had a QR code for the bulletin. That was awesome. So I went ahead and made sure I had a QR code up here for this. So we're calling it Burnt Cabin Boosters. Burnt Cabin Boosters is an annual membership. It's an annual membership. And what that does, it's membership in the corporation. Okay? Membership in the corporation. There are rules to it. You have to be 18 years old. Okay? This is an adult thing. This is 18 years old or older. You have to be a member of the Church of Christ and in fellowship with the Church of Christ. Okay? You also, and then the membership costs themselves. Membership costs, I know this is really tiny up here. That's why I'm reading it. Membership costs are $50 for a single membership. That's per year, okay? But $75 if you want to do it as a couple. Okay, so if your husband and wife want to be members both. Now what that does is this. First and foremost, it's a tax-deductible donation. All right, that is true. But memberships also give you a voice. We will be voting, okay? I want you to understand that. We're not just nominating, we're not just putting people out there anymore. As a board of directors, we now will be voting every year for, okay, a third of the board right now will be voted on every year, okay? Now, since we just started this, that won't start until 2027. Okay, we want to give the guys who just started a chance. But everybody who is a member gets a vote on who's on the board. We want you to be a part of camp. We want you to have a voice in camp. We want to hear from you. We want to invite you. If you want to come to a meeting, you can come to a meeting. We want to invite you to be a part of camp as much as you will be a part. And like I said, at least 4 members will be voted on every year beginning in 2027. And we're going to make it a little nice. Also, you're going to be the first ones to find out everything. Okay? We're going to give you not just you'll get a letter from the president of the board, whoever it is at that time, and then you'll also be able to get firsthand knowledge of the projects that are going on and updates on a regular basis via email. So again, this is a huge part of being an incorporation. Okay, this isn't just me up here fundraising, because I know you guys are doing a special collection. That's what I'm doing today. I'm trying to explain to you how the corporation works and how important this is that we have a membership. So I hope you can do that. Like I said, the QR code's there. It won't be in a minute, but it is there. And if you see me later on, I can point you in the right direction also. But you can also find it on our new website. We do have a new website, burntcabinchristian.org. If you go to burntcabinchristiancamp.com right now, it probably won't do anything because we're in the middle of transporting it over to the new website. So, but if you go to burntcabinchristian.org, you can find all of that information there. Guys, that's also where you are going to be registering. That's already up for you. The registration is up there. Just go to summer camp and then click on the broken arrow registration, and it'll take you right to the registration page. The new website has a lot of new features to it also. It has all, you know what, I'm going to let you find that out because I want you to go to it. So it's got a lot of new features to it, and we're excited about that. One of the things that it does have is it has a camp calendar right on the homepage. So if you want to know what's going on out at camp, you can just get on that website and you can see. And also for those of you who plan retreats, you can also get on there and find out what weekends are open right there on the website. So, and you can actually book a retreat right from the website also. So, that being said, let me ask you, let me put this out first. Are there any questions about that? I'm hoping I was clear. Okay, good. All right, that being said, then I really want to invite you guys out to Burnt Cabin. Not just for your week, but I want to invite you out there before that. I'm going to be doing 2 work days. And work days are just that, they're work. I'm calling the first one Chainsaws and Chili Dogs. That's not the only thing we'll be doing. I promise it's not the only thing we're doing. But I am trying to open camp up to a usable state, to make it more park-like, to be able to use a lot more of it. And so I need some guys out there, or girls with chainsaws. I don't know, that's fine. I'm an equal chainsaw opportunity person here. So bring your chainsaws, but I don't just need people with chainsaws either. I need people to drag trees out of the woods, right? Because we're going to go through, and what we're going to be doing in this area right here, in that area right there, which it looks like a pretty big area, but it's a lot of it's already done. I've been working on it since November. So we're going to take every tree, every little sapling that's like this down, okay, and let the bigger trees grow. Okay, so we're just trying to take all the little stuff out. We're not looking at, so we don't need anybody to come out and take down big trees. Although if we have somebody to do that, there are a couple that are dead already. So, but we're going to be doing that. We're also going to be doing some. We're trying to get some log splitting done for firewood, which we have a log splitter. We're trying to pull the trees out. We're trying to get all those small trees out to clean up and allow that to be a usable area for the archery range and for eventually the RV slots and the family cabins. So that's one of the things we'll be doing. We're also going to be doing a lot of the initial cleanup, just going through some of the buildings that haven't been used very much, and just doing a quick clean of all those buildings. So those of you who come out and weed eated for Sam the last few years, or if you've ever come out and weed eated for him, I'm going to try to avoid that for you, okay? I've got 2 teenage boys. They need exercise, right? They need exercise. So that's the one area, and then there's another area that last it may have been 2 years ago actually, in front of the lower bunkhouse, down towards the canteen there in the director's housing, they lost a couple big trees, and that still hasn't been cleaned up yet, and so that needs to just get cleaned up, hopefully on April 20th. And this is my promise: you come out, I'm going to feed you lunch. How's that? Okay, so hopefully you can come out and I'll feed you lunch and we can get a lot of stuff done while we're out there. Let's see here. The other work day is going to be May 11th. Now that's going to be an important one also. Okay, that's going to be the important one, especially for Broken Arrow, because this will be the last work day before your camp starts. So we want to make sure that it is ready to go, beautiful and ready to go for you on May 11th. So now I hope that doesn't scare anybody, right? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to keep a camp going like that. And that's, they hired me as the camp manager. I'm not just a caretaker. I manage a lot of other things about the camp. And so therefore, I have no problem saying, I need help. I need help. So what I'm doing, I'm going to be creating also on the website is a database. It's going to be a form that you go on, and I'll get this information, even a QR code for you. But I want you to go on, and I want you to go on and fill out this form. People who are willing to help, just your phone number and email addresses, and what your specialties are. So some of you are electricians. Some of you are plumbers. Some of you may just put down, I'll come out and scrub anything. I don't know. But whatever it is, I want to create a database of people that I can call upon when there's a need. And, especially anybody know anybody with a cherry picker at the moment? Boom truck? Just throwing that one out there. Because it's an important one. Let's see here. How much time do I have here? What time do you end? Oh, okay. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Good. All right, so I've got 3 minutes left. So in those 3 minutes, I just want to remind you of one important thing, and that is my experience with camps, children's camps, is this. They are vitally important to congregations everywhere. In my 24 years at Camp Hunt, I can easily find in those 24 years probably the best times in my ministry. Some of those times where there were kids, I'm not sure who comes to your camps, okay? Because this is my first summer. But I know from personal experience that there were kids that came out to camp that was the only time in the year that they felt accepted and loved. That's why it's so important. That's why everything we do is so important to make sure the camp continues on being a tool for all congregations to bring kids and adults closer to Christ. It is vitally important, not just to Broken Arrow, but to all the congregations in Oklahoma and Arkansas, everyone who uses it. We want this to be always pointing towards God. Thank you for your time this morning.